What's up, guys? It's the Voltage Bros, and what are we reviewing today, Jerem?
Today, Kenny, we are reviewing Beetlejuice. Don't
What?
say it 3 times. Don't do it. Kenny, did you enjoy Beetlejuice?
I did enjoy Beetlejuice, but I had never seen the original. But you, on the other hand, have seen it. So did you enjoy this movie?
Yeah, so I just watched the original for the first time to prepare myself for this movie, and I definitely think it is a worthy sequel, and I will tell you why.
And if you want to see the thoughts on the original, this is the video that Jerem reviewed.
So go check that out. But as for Beetlejuice, we're going to start by talking about the certain characters in this movie, because there are a lot of characters and there are a lot of storylines. And do they all mesh well together?
Yeah. Well, let's find out.
Okay.
Let's start with the main character. I'm not really sure. It was hard to have a main character in this movie because there was a lot. But I do think Lydia was the main focus. So we'll start with Lydia. What are your thoughts on her throughout the movie?
Well, Lydia is a great character. I think she definitely holds the movie together well with everything going on. And the great thing that they did with Lydia was they let Winona Ryder, the actor, basically play to her strengths.
Yeah.
So in the first movie, Lydia is a dark, mysterious girl, right? And then in this one, she's an anxious mom. And I think what they did with a lot of these characters is they just let them play to their strengths.
Yeah.
So since Winona Ryder, we've seen you in Stranger Things, you're really good at an anxious mom. Just do that in this movie.
Right. That's what I was going to add. I was going to say I'd seen her in Stranger Things, and I think 90% of people who know her from Stranger Things.
At least now.
And so that transition to this movie for all those viewers is rather easy because they already know this character. Almost. Obviously, there's some differences, but as you said, she played to her strengths.
Yeah, and letting the actors do that in this movie just makes it more fun. It makes it seem like they are just having fun making a movie, and just be yourself. Like, here's the script. We made it for you.
Yeah. My only single complaint about Lydia as a character was throughout the movie, you don't get the feeling that she's dumb, because she's not, right? She's a smart character, even if she's anxious.
Yeah.
But at the end, in order for her to realize that her soon-to-be husband was just using her, there had to be a truth serum. I thought that was kind of lame because she's smart enough to figure it out. She was just anxious and needed someone to love, maybe. And so my only complaint was that she didn't just figure out her relationship on her own.
Well, that's what we need for a third movie.
Yeah.
Is to let her end up in a good relationship instead of having Beetlejuice chase her around this whole time with that 1,000-year age gap.
Right.
Maybe she'll end up with someone and they need to make a third one.
Yeah. Well, if they do make a third one, do you think Lydia is going to make it into it?
Oh, I don't know, because it'll probably be 36 years. She probably will.
Is Emily going to make it into the third one?
Oh, in another 36 years, Emily, Lydia's mom? I don't know.
I know she's dead in the movie, but obviously that doesn't really apply. But 36 years, if they plan on it.
I don't know how old she is, but
I don't know how old she is, but
she can do it.
If she did the original, was the mom already. Now she's the grandma in this one.
She can be the great grandma.
Great grandma, except dead already. But who knows? We'll see. But what were your other thoughts on Emily?
On Emily, so Catherine O'Hara, same thing. She plays to her strengths.
Right.
She plays the crazy mom.
Right.
And that's what she did in the first one. That's what she's done in
other shows.
Home Alone. That's what she's done in Schitt's Creek.
Right. That's what my wife mentioned to me as we left the theater. She's like, she plays the exact same character in Schitt's Creek.
And that's what we love.
So it was great.
Another thing I loved about Catherine O'Hara, Emily's character, was I could feel the creators asking themselves the question, what can we do to make this character even crazier? So in the first one, she builds a bunch of sculptures, and then that is just crazy in itself because she thinks she's so amazing.
Yeah.
And then how can we just make that go a little bit further? Someone in the writing room says, she is the sculpture. And everyone goes, yes, that's where she goes. And it's perfect.
Yeah, it is perfect. She was really well done. Enjoyable character. I don't have any specific complaints about her.
She's great.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Astrid
the daughter. same thing. Played her to her strengths.
Another example.
Right. Another example. She did a great job. She's really good at playing a kid who is annoyed at her mom all the time. Right. She just feels natural for some reason.
Yeah.
Just always see her as a more like low-key, depressed kid. Dark.
Yeah. And they just chose her because she's the perfect fit. And
Right.
yeah, they did another great choice.
Right. Great choice. Great casting.
But as for her storyline.
Right. This is what I wanted to get into.
Okay.
Her storyline, it felt like she was only there to get mom into the underworld. Okay, Astrid gets mom to underworld because mom is trying to save Astrid. How does Astrid get to the underworld? Through this ghost friend, I forget his name, who seems really a lot until he just disappears halfway through the movie and you never see him again.
Yeah, the plot lines, there are so many things going on,
Right.
that it doesn't all attach.
Yeah.
It all ends at the same time, kind of beautifully,
Yeah.
and all wraps up. But does one thing always lead to another? Not really. Now that you're trying to explain that, I can't really piece together what really happened in the plot. It was just kind of a lot of fun things.
Right. Well, just the ghost friend felt like the only reason why he was there was to get Astrid to the underworld. And once that happened, they're like, get out of here. We don't need you.
Well, and it was a way that they needed Beetlejuice's help.
Right.
Because that's kind of the whole point. It's like,
Right.
Are we going to call on Beetlejuice or not?
I just wish he had come back a little more often after that. So there was more of a struggle in that area. But it's okay.
Well, same with William Dafoe's character. Like, he was just kind of there off to the side, and he didn't even really interact with all the rest of the characters.
That's true.
He was just having fun on his own and wasn't in the same room as the other characters at all, really.
Yeah, that's true.
And so
he's almost comedic relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't even had anything really to do with the rest of the plot.
Right.
But watching it, you don't really complain.
No.
Which is really interesting.
That is true.
Because if it was a book or something, you'd be like, why do we have these random chapters of this random character in the underworld? And then it doesn't really even converge. Oh, well, it's fun for the movie.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you don't really question it in this movie for some reason, but I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really liked Charles, who got eaten by the shark.
Yeah.
And it was a fun, creative way to get the character in the movie without using the actor.
Right.
Which would have been funny because Charles, the actor, he looks completely different now. And he's the only character that him playing to his strengths now maybe wouldn't be the same, you know? It'd be like, he's in more intense movies now. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Witch?
The Witch was also random.
That's true.
But also fun.
She was introduced, and I thought, having no experience watching the original, that she was going to be like the main villain in the movie a lot.
Yeah.
But then she's in the very beginning, and then every like 30 minutes, they cut to her for about 30 seconds, and like, hey, look, she's still looking for Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Right? And then the very end, it's like, I made it. I found you, Beetlejuice.
Yeah. I also thought that when I saw her show up, but I thought, oh, they're doing it differently this time. A villain. But then she's only there for a little bit. And it's, again, just a fun, random movie.
Right. Yeah. Well, speaking of the witch, then, she was looking for Beetlejuice. Right? What are your thoughts on Beetlejuice and his character?
He was great. I liked him in the first one a lot. And
so
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton, right.
So in my review of the first one, times went a little bit too far with the weirdness and strangeness. And I thought maybe they would dial it back, just like the things that he does to women in the first one. It's like, whoa, don't put that on screen, please. And then in this one, they didn't put it on screen, but they still were true to his character, which is he's an awkward guy who is just strange and weird. And it's so funny how people don't want him to be called, not because he's evil, just because he's weird to be around. That's the only reason people don't like him.
Yeah, they're not even like super scared. They're not really scared of him at all throughout the movie. Yeah. Again, no concept of the first one, but they definitely just don't enjoy being around him.
It's like, bro, not that guy. No.
Right. I think not watching the original, hurt me in those ways because I didn't fully understand Beetlejuice and his motives. Like, why did he want to get married to this lady? Which I'm assuming I would figure out if I watched the original.
Yeah, so the first one, he just wants to marry her, but she's a child.
Oh.
It's even weirder.
Okay, gotcha. So he just continues with that infatuation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
okay,
good.
so he's just weird. There's not really a motive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the second one, they mentioned that if he got married to her, he would be allowed to live.
Okay.
But watching the first one, I didn't catch that right away. So I'm not sure if they just made that up for the second one. And in the first one, I thought he was just wanting to marry her because he's weird.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the hardcore fans of Beetlejuice will know.
Let us know in the comments below if we're missing something.
There's a more lore around this movie than I know. I personally see it as just a fun movie, and I see the randomness as the reason why it's fun. So like, why do we have this worm monster, and why do we randomly open doors? And there it is. Just sometimes.
Right.
And then sometimes when you call Beetlejuice, you go inside the model. Sometimes when you call Beetlejuice,
sometimes he
comes out.
Yeah.
So it's not really all put together, but it's just fun.
Right. Yeah, it is fun. That being said, do you think it is a worthy sequel? I know we don't know all the lore like you just mentioned, but off of your limited knowledge, is it a worthy sequel?
I think it is a great and worthy sequel because Beetlejuice is exactly the same, and it's the same actor, and he plays it exactly how he did, and it feels like he's back, and Lydia's back, but now she's anxious, and it's just great.
And has a kid.
Yeah. So it's one of those ones where it feels like it's back.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I think they did a great job merging between it being a great sequel that diehard fans will, I don't know about love, but will like, and having a newer audience find the movie and watch it. Because I obviously don't know anything about the original, never seen it. I'm planning on seeing it now, but I enjoyed this movie just point blank, right?
Yep.
I didn't need the information from the original to enjoy it. That being said, there's definitely moments where I was like, I'm missing a reference here. I don't understand. The 80s dancing Soul Train thing.
Oh, yeah.
My wife was telling me some reference to something. I did not understand it. I was like, why is there 80s dancers, disco dancers at this train?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I enjoyed it how it is. I think anyone can enjoy it without having to have knowledge, though it would help if you did.
Yeah, that's really cool. It makes you want to see the first one. And I think the references, like you said, it wasn't references that are so obvious that if you miss them, you feel left out.
Right.
It's like references where it makes sense along in the story. And remember watching Star Wars The Last Jedi, where Luke lifts up his ship out of the water?
Yeah.
And everyone goes, "Whoa!" All the fake people laughing because they were like, we're clapping for it sucks, but we have to clap. You know that?
Yeah.
It's like the fan service that's like, come on. Like, why? It's just a reference.
Right.
But the other ones is just a reference and it passes by and it's just part of it instead of a big, they did the thing.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, Kenny.
Well, Jerem.
I enjoy talking about Beetlejuice with you, and I'm glad you want to watch the second one. I mean, I'm glad you want to watch the first one, and I'm glad we entered into this world. Guys, if you watched Beetlejuice and you loved the first one or second one, let us know in the comments below what all the lore is about. I want to learn more about it, so let us know.
And if you want us to keep making videos like this one about every latest blockbuster movie, like this video and subscribe. It really helps us out. And as always, let's bolt.